Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your host with the Holy Ghost, BeijingKing, man. I'm 39 years of age, Kansas City, Missouri native, uh, living in the 50s. Cut hair out my barber shop, full-fledged salon that's in my basement. Evangelist, entertainer, uh, professional barber, father. Um, you know, it's me.
So you were born and raised in Kansas City?
Yeah, I was born and raised right off 7500 East 76th Street. We used to call it the Valley. Well, that's what they still call it. It's the Valley.
What is your earliest memory?
Man, a lot of memories of the V, man. I mean, remember the Parkers, shout out to Wings and Things. You know, the Parkers always playing basketball in their backyard and them bringing home wings from their job whenever they closed up. Riding bikes, terrorizing the neighborhood as young dudes. I remember firework fights and all kinds of stuff, man. We had fun over there. We was rowdy. We had fun.
Well, how would you describe your childhood?
My childhood was voluntarily rough, man. I volunteered myself in all the roughness. I grew up in a house with my grandparents, so it really wasn't too rough from that because my mother, she was murdered. So I ended up being adopted by my grandparents, and they had a good life set up for me. They really did. They provided really well for me. But I chose to be amongst the rougher crowd because I liked that and that activity as entertainment.
Well, how old were you when your mom passed?
I was 4 years old, man, when my mother got murdered, man. She had broke up with my daddy. They had a big, nasty fight when she was out there in New York staying with him. And she came back here and started dating this one dude. I think his name was Calvin, who was a drug addict, man. He was on meth, all that stuff. That was my first time being in his house, first time ever touching a meth spoon. I got thrown in the closet. She got beat. But yeah, she got murdered when I was 4 years old, man, calling herself trying to rekindle the flame with my father, but this dude, he wasn't having that. It was either him or nobody.
Dang. So what happened to him?
He ended up going to prison for a little bit. I remember being 13, me and my grandfather going down there in Lawrence, Kansas to check on him and his sentence and stuff. When I say check on him, to make sure that he wasn't getting out, but that was like, man, he's gonna end up getting out on good behavior and stuff like that. So yeah, that's about the only memory. I think he ended up getting out when I was about 14, 15 or something like that on good behavior.
Dang.
Yeah.
So when he got out, like at that age, did you ever think of like revenge?
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to find that dude and murder him on my own because I had been trained by the wrong people to do the wrong things the right way, and I felt like I had enough training to murder that dude on my own. But I didn't. I never could find him. I didn't know all his information, and my grandparents, they really wasn't giving me that information. Maybe it was God protecting me for real, but I tried my hardest to find this dude because I just felt like murdering him would make everything right. You know what I mean? But couldn't find him.
Yeah.
Ended up letting me go.
Got you. So just real quick to touch on that briefly.
Yeah.
Do you remember, like at that age of 4? Because I know I can remember. I have some memories from when I was like 2, like really brief, 3.
Right.
Do you have any memory of your mom?
So it's funny, man. So I got little memories, man, and one of the most memorable things I can remember is that my mama stayed in the apartments by the KCPT building, right? And I think it was off in the tuck over there off of 31st Street, close to Main or Broadway, not probably Main. And I remember her telling me to go downstairs and throw some trash in the trash can. Maybe, yeah, I think I probably was old enough to do that, but I remember her, either she went down to throw it away or I went down to throw it away. I remember being in her kitchen and seeing the Jetsons on TV, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. Other than that, I don't really too much remember nothing about my mama. Everything I know about my mama has been told to me by other people. Because in the neighborhood I grew up in, that's where my mama grew up in, and them people would tell me more in the valley would tell me more about my mother than I ever really knew because I was 4 years old.
Gotcha. All right, so going back to the age of 14, like what was life like, during that period for you?
Oh man, so I was 12 years old. Really, from the time I was 4 on up, my grandparents kept me in church. I would go to church with the Parkers and stuff too, because they had Chucky and Darren over there. Shout out to Chucky and Darren and Mr. Parker, Mrs. Parker too. Just keeping me with something to do in the faith because they had figured I probably need Jesus to get through a lot of Jesus to get through the world and get through the situation I left. And it was cool, man. I didn't really too much grab it because I didn't really know the Bible. I didn't really read it. My grandparents, although they love me, they didn't really read the Bible with me. They just told me, God's gonna get you and stuff like that. So that was kind of training in the Bible is just telling me about the fear of God. So going to church with the Parkers, like I said, I'd be in there just interacting to try to get the fruit snacks and the juicy juices and chips and stuff for the interaction. And it came a point in time to where, shoot, as fun and as cool as it was, because it was cool, man, and people on the corner that it came, the people who was not going to church, the people who was outside of the church, man, they looked like they was having way more fun. And them be the people I be running into at school and standing on the bus stop with. And so I just kind of, at 12 years old, I just kind of tested it one time. I was like, man, I ain't going to go to church. And I kind of stayed on the corner with them. And then nobody make a big hoopla about it. And then I did it again and nobody made a big deal about it. So I was like, oh, shoot, I guess I'm going to be out here.